Right, so training contract deadlines generally close in around a month or so. These are for direct training contract applications. So therefore, I thought in today's LCN vlog from yours truly, Simranjeet Kaur, we would do some quick fire application tips to really hopefully help you in writing successful applications. By way of introduction, I am a trainee solicitor in my first seat at a UK top 20 law firm, and I make videos mostly for aspiring solicitors who are looking to become a solicitor in the UK. In this video, I'm going to give you 3 quick tips on how you can improve your application writing. So firstly, consider the why and the how question. So this is a big thing in training contract applications. Just giving statements and then expecting the firm to believe what you've said doesn't necessarily work out in your favor. So simply stating, I love being in challenging situations, that statement on its own isn't good enough. And that's when the why and the how question comes in. So why are you interested in being involved in challenging tasks? And how can you show that to the firm that you're applying to? So I did this for every sentence that I wrote in my applications. I would consider that why and how question. So why am I interested in challenging scenarios, for example, just building on from that example that I gave earlier? It keeps me on my feet, it makes me motivated, it ensures that I'm always learning on the job. It doesn't mean that, my career is stagnant and my knowledge just stops. I'm always constantly learning. Another thing about challenging scenarios, another reason why I enjoy challenging scenarios, is you're able to build on key skills that you may not have realized you had before. You're able to really kind of develop as a person professionally and personally as well. And I personally feel like it's when you step outside of your comfort zone, when you are in those challenging situations, that's when you really learn the most. So that's a really kind of long-winded answer to why I'm interested in challenging scenarios. And then how can I show that to the firm? So that's when I provide really specific practical scenarios. So a time when, for example, I deliberately place myself in a challenging situation. For example, if I'm someone who really struggled with public speaking, I would put myself in a challenging scenario by doing a presentation or doing a debate. So those were different things in which you can showcase that you have put yourself in that situation, therefore providing the evidence and proving to the firm that what your statement you said at the start, that's correct. So this why and how question rule applies to no matter what question you're answering in the training contract process. So for example, if you're researching a firm and you find a particular thing that the firm has done, say if they've won a particular award, and then if you simply state in the application, I'm applying to your firm because you've won the D&I award for, I don't know, great stats or whatever in your firm, then that doesn't actually showcase to the firm why you've applied to them. They themselves know of their awards. They know their achievements. They know how many offices they have. They know what practice areas they have. Why is that achievement or practice area important to you? And how can you show to the firm that you're also interested in that as well? So say if I was applying to a firm because they had a very strong M&A practice, I would talk about why M&A interests me. For example, it could be I like the key terms, I think it's a challenging area of law. I could say I studied it on the LPC and then talk about what was it about the LPC that I really enjoyed, any particular topics that really stood out to me. And then how can I show the firm that I'm interested in M&A, or how have I shown a further interest in M&A beyond just studying it? I could talk about a recent deal that really captured my interest in terms of an M&A deal. I could talk about a webinar I attended that was about M&A in a certain firm. So, that's kind of how I would go about answering these kind of questions. Put the statement and then the whys and the how questions. Now, the second thing with application writing, I know you're absolutely going to roll your eyes at this because you're going to be like, Sim, I would never do this, but I just have to reiterate spelling and grammar and names and punctuation and all of that fun stuff. It is so important. And at the moment, I don't review applications due to time constraints, but I'm not going to lie, I would say around 70% of applications I reviewed, and these were kind of final drafts from individuals, so they'll send it to me as kind of like a last minute check before they submitted it. They would always have some kind of spelling, punctuation and grammatical mistake in there. Some name of the firm could be spelt wrong. So for example, if you look at the firm Allen and Overy, is that and with the squiggly and, or is it and? Some people get that mixed up. And it's really, really important that you get those details correct. So consider your use especially of things like apostrophes, semicolons, commas. You really don't want to slip up on those elements. Those were things that I generally found quite difficult when I was doing my applications. And also, for example, if you are writing a cover letter, think about salutation. So would you say dear sir stroke madam, or would you say dear Mr. or Mrs. blah blah blah? And how would you end the letter? Yours sincerely, yours faithfully. So those kind of formalities when it comes to writing in general, don't forget about those in your training contract applications because they are so important. Now, number 3, like my last quick fire tip for this really cool video. Well, I think it's cool anyway, but this last tip is structure. Now, structure is so important because sometimes the reader can get lost in what you're trying to say. Now, this is where I feel like reviewing and self-reviewing is really important. And even, for example, getting your family to perhaps, or your friends, to read your application to see, they may not understand kind of the legal things of what you're talking about, but if they can make out the structure and what you're trying to say, then that's great. Because a lot of the time when I used to review applications, I don't anymore, but when I used to, I would get lost in what the writer was trying to say. What point were they trying to make? And the thing with training contract applications is, firstly, you have to go direct, straight to the point. I don't feel like there's any point in doing a whole storytelling narrative. So for example, say if the question was, why do you like law? Why are you applying to law? And you go into a whole spiel of, I first discovered law, blah, blah, blah. And then I went into this and, you know, I saw that. And I don't think training contract applications are a time for you to go into a long storytelling spiel. How I went about my training contract applications was I was very direct, straight to the point. So if that question, you know, the same question I spilled on that. So why are you interested in law? I would do, I'm interested in law for 3 reasons. Firstly, secondly, thirdly. And that is your structure. So say if the question was, for example, why are you applying to this firm? Your initial sentence could be, there are 3 reasons why I'm applying to this firm. Firstly, their small trainee intake. Secondly, their international presence. Thirdly, their interest in legal tech. And then you go into, so in respect of the first reason, and then you go into your spiel about why that's important. And then you move into your second. Now, structure becomes increasingly important, in my opinion, when it comes to cover letters. Cover letters are so important in terms of structure because I feel like a lot of people tend to get lost in their writing within cover letters, especially because you are given more of a word count. Now, if you want more of an insight into structure, into writing, in terms of cover letters as well, I've done a lot of videos about this over on my channel. Over here, I just thought I'll do some quick fire tips in terms of things that I generally see when I used to review applications. And if this video has been helpful, please do subscribe to the Law Careers Net channel. Please do like this video and drop a comment. Thank you so much for watching.